Hi, Sustainable Beekeeper here, and I have some not awesome news to share with y'all. I know that we're dealing with the daily inundation of horrors from this regime, the suffering, the humanitarian crises, the escalation of the violation and destruction of our human rights and our way of life. That is all really overwhelming, and so I don't mean to bring another piece of negative news to you, but we should be aware of the ways that this administration, this regime is dismantling environmental protections, absolutely devastating for the environment and for anybody who cares about this beautiful land that we all share, and anybody who cares about agriculture and food production as well. So I have two top bar beehives, and neither of them survived the winter. I'm going to have to catch swarms this spring. And I try to keep up on apiculture news, even though I don't practice migratory beekeeping, which is the backbone of our industrial agricultural system. I practice sustainable backyard beekeeping, and that is an important part of my permaculture system. I'm going to share an article that was published last month in Project Apis M. It is not great. I don't bother my colonies over the winter, and so I was kind of sitting on this until I knew what the state of my own hives was. But yeah, it's time to share now. The start of 2025 almond pollination season was met with unprecedented colony losses, which have shaken the beekeeping industry. I have made whole videos about the unsustainability of almond cultivation in California, not only their insane amount of water use, their monoculture food deserts for wildlife, but also the fact that honeybees really don't want to feed off of almonds. That is not their preferred food. And being forced to pollinate these large monoculture almond orchards is stressful for them because it's not the food they would like to be eating. Project Apis M conducted a widespread survey to assess the breadth and severity of colony die-offs within the US. The survey collected data from 702 respondents, accounting for approximately 1.835 million colonies of bees. That is roughly 68% of America's bees. From the survey, America's commercial beekeepers are reporting an average loss of 62% of their colonies. These are alarming numbers. We know that our honeybees have been stressed for a long time. We know that there are significant factors that reduce overwinter viability for colonies. Your average backyard beekeeper has about a 45 to 55% chance of losing their colony over the winter. 62% colony loss for commercial beekeepers is a red alert. These alarming numbers could significantly impact crop pollination of essential foods and harm the profitability of America's agriculture industry. Add to that the stress on our food supply because of tariffs with our neighbors. While beekeepers are accustomed to losing some portion of their bees each year, as I just said, this season's losses could prove lethal for many businesses. Many of the struggles and sentiments beekeepers are facing can be summed up in the following quote. We've borrowed from our house, from our retirement, from family. We borrowed to keep the business going. Now those bees are gone. This is what it means to have back-to-back losses on a farm. We took a huge loss 2 years ago. We borrowed against our long-term investments to buy back into bees. We ran our bees again. We focused on their health. We asked for help. We did what we were supposed to do. But when the losses hit again, there is no way to recover. It's all gone. The equity in our homes are gone, our retirement is gone, our family members' money is gone. All that's left are empty boxes. We don't even have the dead bees, they're just gone, right? These bees have absconded. Based on survey responses, America's beekeepers have lost $224.8 million in bees over the winter. And that is using an incredibly conservative estimate of $200 per colony. That's super cheap. If they add in the percentage of commercial beekeepers that did not respond to the survey, the total would be $635 million worth of lost bees over the winter. That is the highest amount ever recorded for commercial colony loss. That does not include the tremendous amount of lost income from crop pollination fees or the lost honey production. That's just the value of the colonies themselves. We're talking billions of dollars to our migratory beekeepers that are part of our agriculture system, that are part of our farms. This is a huge and devastating loss. Apis M is asking those who are interested in helping beekeepers to spread awareness of what is going on, and that is why I'm making this video. Apis M is urging all Americans to speak to members of the government about this, to prioritize purchasing US-made honey, and to plant forage, because we know that habitat loss, especially loss of forage, is a huge stressor on both wild and honeybee populations. climate change, urban sprawl, more effective weed management, movements to ban honeybees from public lands are all factors which are decreasing forage for bees. As less forage is available, beekeepers are having to spend money on sugar water supplements, and that also causes a stress on bees. They want to be eating nectar and pollen. They don't want to eat sugar water. We are watching the Trump regime roll back supports, grants, financial assistance for farmers, and that includes our migratory beekeepers. We are watching this regime repeal environmental protections, policy oversight in our agriculture sphere, in our environmental sphere. We are watching polluters no longer being policed. In fact, Trump is granting exemptions for large polluters, which apparently he has the right to do. I know it can be overwhelming to look at the volume of crises that this regime is creating. They are manufacturing these crises that are impacting everybody in America. And the idea is for us to be suffering so hard with our own personal issues that we don't look at the bigger picture. But we've got to remember that when the environment is harmed, when our agricultural system is being stressed and dismantled and being absolutely devastated, when we are pulling back laws that protect our clean air, our clean water, the environment we all share, that has a humanitarian impact. That hurts us, the people. We are connected to the land, whether or not we want to see that. We are harming ourselves, our bodies, our children, our future generations. The ways that this regime is pulling back protections, is dismantling policy that protects the earth, protects our water, protects our air, protects our farmers, protects our food chain, protects the safety of the food that we consume. That all has lasting, devastating implications for every American and for Americans who have yet to be born. I know we're all dealing with so much, but I want you to understand the way that the crisis for our beekeepers fits into that greater picture. This is why it is so important that we stop what this regime is doing, all of the illegal actions that they are taking, all of the ways that they are hurting every American, every working class person here, every farmer, every community. Everybody eats food, everybody buys fruits and vegetables. This hurts all of us in ways that we cannot even fully conceptualize of yet. The fallout from the way that Musk and Trump are trying to wreck our government, take our tax dollars to enrich themselves while they dismantle all of the programs that kept America safe and fed. We don't fully yet realize how devastating that is going to be. And it's important that we acknowledge every single incident, that we don't turn a blind eye, that we don't fail to see what is really happening. We cannot minimize the extent of the damage that they are doing. I'm very fearful about our farmers, and I'm very fearful about our beekeeping industry. As many issues as I have with migratory beekeeping, it is necessary to keep Americans fed. And this regime is canceling all of the programs and safety nets and support for America's farmers. I'm very worried about what the loss of 62% of America's honeybees is going to mean for our crops, what it's going to mean for America's consumers, for the cost of our food, for the accessibility of food. As a beekeeper, I'm worried about it. As somebody whose work focuses a lot on sustainable food chains, as somebody who cares about hungry people, somebody who cares about America, I'm deeply, deeply worried by this news.